to my channel. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Welcome newcomers. I hope you like what you see. And if you have any suggestions, opinions, what would you like to see different, please leave in the comments below. I'll be more than glad to create it for you and teach you how it can be done. I want to thank every single one of you right from the start. When I started, you guys have been amazing supporting me and your beautiful comments. Thank you so much. It's also very important to remind you guys that if the video is too fast for you, right up top there's 3 little buttons. You can click there, slow down the video to the speed you would like. Next to it there's a closed caption. You can turn that on. Everything I'll be calling out the stitch will be written down here. You can pause, take notes. If you don't know how to do any of that, which is very simple, in the description box is a little arrow right below, like a V, below the video. Click there, and that opens up, and it gives you all the details. You can just click on the link that it says how to slow down the video. I also want to ask of you to please consider donating yarn, thread, or funds for the women desperately in need of thread or yarn. They can't afford to buy. They have no means for it. I keep getting asked over and over if I can help. I cannot do it by myself. I can't stress enough to ask you guys on each video I create to ask you for your help. Below the video, there's a little bag money sign. You can leave anything you'd like. Anything counts. It adds up at the end. If everybody pitches in a few bucks here and there, it's, already good enough to get me started to send out thread for these women. In the description box, I also have my PayPal, which you can deposit there yourselves, whatever amount you'd like. Nobody's asking for millions. I would like you guys to put yourselves for 2 seconds in someone's shoes that cannot afford to buy not even one little roll of thread or yarn to create something simple as a flower, which doesn't take that much, or a granny square. It doesn't take that much thread or yarn. It is quite difficult and heartbreaking knowing that these women are in desperate need, and I cannot do it by myself. I'm asking you please to consider, put yourselves in their shoes for 2 seconds. We are very limited in this world. We're not going to bring anything with us when we're gone. The least we can do is help somebody, even if it's one person. We already did our part on helping. Please donate and help. If you want to send, please have a hold of me through Instagram message. I'll give you their name, their address. You can ship it out to them. Some of these women are in islands that have no access to certain sizes of thread or colors of thread. The least we can do is ship them, a few of them, get them busy. These people suffer through poverty, through mental health, no means of buying. Some are, caregivers with their families, and they create certain patterns and sell to support their families. Let's get together and do this together. I'm asking you, please. So find it in your heart to at least help out. And thank you so much for the ones that already have done their deed. Thank you. So grateful. So let's get started, everyone. Thank you again for all your support. And please don't forget to give it those thumbs up. It's very important for the video to get circulated. The only way it's going to get circulated and recognized by YouTube is by having those thumbs up and commenting or sharing the video so other people can discover it. This is how they circulate quite often. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's get started. Oh, and before I forget, most of the time I use 3.5 or a 3, sometimes a 4 hook, little one to tuck in loose ends, and of course a pair of scissors. Okay, everyone, so we're going to create this beautiful flower today, applicable on any pattern you'd like. I'm actually working on a doily with these flowers, so I'm going to do the flowers separate because people, first and foremost, people use them for different reasons, not necessarily that they're going to use the same thing as I do, and also because it takes too much room on my mobile phone, so we'll keep it separate, and I will be putting it in my playlist with flowers. So every time you need to search for flowers, for leaves, for doilies, left-handed, table runners. Just going to the playlist and it's just listed there. Doilies. Click on it. All the doilies are there, or leaves or flowers. I still have a few that I need to organize that I haven't had time yet. But this is very simple and gorgeous. I'm just starting to do the centerpiece for it. I know that some of you have a hard time with the black, but these are gorgeous colors to be mixed together. I'm still working on the centerpiece, as you see, so I'm going to create it and then do the tutorial on it. So you might want to be on the alert for this doily table doily, if you want to call it. I will be using 8 flowers on that table doily. It's like a table runner, but it's not a runner because it's not long, it's round. And so round table doily, I guess, if you would call it. Okay, so we're going to get started. These are 4 plies, 100% cotton thread. I know it looks more orangey on camera, but it's not. It's a very salmon, a pinkish orangey salmon. You'll need a little pearl if you like to decorate them. These are 8 millimeters. And I use multicolored green for the leaves. It's optional if you want to use it or not, but I think it gives it all a nice, beautiful look to it. Okay. Hook 3.5, little one to tuck in loose ends, and of course a pair of scissors to cut your leftover. Let's get started, everyone. And of course the multicolored green. Please don't forget, if you liked the video, to give a thumbs up. It's very important. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Okay, so we're going to do the magic circle. Bring your thread from behind, almost like you're making a knot, you know, so easy. And if you still can't do it, do a 6 chain and close it up with slip stitch. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. This will equal a double crochet. And I'm going to do 15 more in here. So we're going to have a total of 16 double crochets. Okay, I'll meet you at the end. I forgot to mention, if you're using a pearl, you need to leave a good length on your thread, because this is how we're going to put our pearl in afterwards. We're going to pass this thread from the magic circle into the front, and we're going to add our pearl at the end. So I'm coming in my first double crochet, closing it with slip stitch. And now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And only this first time we're going to skip 2 spaces. The rest of the space is going to be 1, because by the time we come back after doing our paddles, we need that 1 space to close in the last paddle, if you understand what I'm saying. So we're going to skip 1, 2 for now, and we're going to go into the third one. Okay, only this time, because we'll be using this one here for the other paddles, and the first one that we left behind will be the last one we need to close in. Okay, so now we did our 5 chain. We're going to turn our work to the back and do 1, 2 chain, or 3 for some of you. Okay, I'm going to do 2 chain, but some of you have a very tight stitch. You might want to do 3. Inside of here, I'm going to do 12 double crochets. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So if you notice, we're on the back part working your paddle. Now we're going to turn it around to the front again. Now remember, I told you we left the 2 behind. We're not going to use this one. This is for the last paddle. We're going to go into the next one. Bring your hook into it and out this way, so you can pass your thread right through it and do a single. Okay, so we have our first paddle built in. Okay, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. we're going to skip only one. This one's used already for when we started our paddle going up our chain. So we're not using this one that's used. We need to skip this one and go into the next one. Okay, so single. 1, 2 chain for me, could be 3 for some of you. Either you can turn around right away or turn around, do your 2 chain. Come inside and do 11 more double crochet. So we're on our second paddle. So we've turned to the back. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so this is still the back part. We need to turn to the front again, and we only have one space now. Remember, we only skipped one. We're going to put our hook through it and come out into this side, pass our thread here, and do a single. So now we have our 2 paddles created already. Chain 5. So it's going to be a repeat like this all the way to the end. We're going to skip 1. This one's in use for the chain we went up. So we're going to skip 1. We're going to the next one. Be very careful when you're skipping. Don't grab the one that's been used already. You can see there's a single here, okay? Now, either you do your 2 chain now, or you can directly, before you forget, turn around, chain 2 or 3 for some of you, and continue to do your 12 paddles, 12 double crochets. That's included with the chain 2 that we went in, that we did, I should say. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so we're going to turn around to the front, and we have the one that we skipped. So we're just going to put our hook and just bend a bit, bring your thread to the front, single, and you chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't use the one that's busy, skip 1 into the next one. Okay, go ahead and do your paddles. If you need to rewind, go ahead. You're going to have 8 of them. I'll meet you in the last one to show you how we're going to proceed with the second paddles behind. Okay, everyone, so I've done my 7 paddles. I'm missing one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just closed in. I'm going to do my chain 5, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to skip this one here, and we're going to come right next to the one we started. Okay, remember I told you we left that one for the last paddle. Remember at the beginning we skipped 2, we used the first one, and the last one or the first one here that we skipped, we didn't use it because I said we were going to use it for the last paddle, right? So now we're going to come in, we're going to close in with the single. Now, if you were to leave it like this, these are sometimes common mistakes, and it's good that you guys learn. If you were to leave it like this, automatically, it's right over the paddle. It's not a good thing to do. So what do you need to do? We need to go and get ourselves into that last space. So you're going to come from behind, okay, where we have that empty space that we're supposed to do our last paddle in. You're going to come from behind, and you're going to grab your thread, and you're going to pull it to the back. Okay? So once you pull it to the back, turn your pattern to the back. We are going to come in our chain, right? do a single, chain 2, and continue to do your 12 double crochets. So we have 4, that's with the single and 2 chain, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're going to turn our pattern to the front. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give it a little stretch. We're going to come right between them, right here on that same stitch. We're going to bring our thread and we're going to pull it to the back because we need to work the petals in the back now, right? So now we've got them lined up. And look how perfect it looks, all lined up the same. They all fall in the same direction by doing the same thing, bringing it to the back. Okay? Now, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to come in. So we have this petal here, right at the beginning of the petal, right? We have that single that we started to do, that 2 or 3 chain going up. We're going to do a single on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're preparing the chain for our petals in the back. Again, here's our petal. We have that single that we started with a chain going up, our first single and 2 chain. And we're going to do a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, the same thing. So you're just going to repeat all the way around, doing a single on that first single that we did with the chain going up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. And into the next one. Just grab the single there, and you're going to have these little loops. These little loops is what's going to create the next petals. I'll meet you at the end. So I did my last 5 chain, and we've started right in the beginning of the next one, right? So we're going to do our last one here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to close it on the same single that we pretty much started with a, oops, I don't think I grabbed my thread properly. I'm going to grab it. Try that again. Okay, no, so I had to take it apart, that's right. Okay, so we have one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have 8 loops in the back. If you don't, then you missed a loop somewhere. So here we have our, I'm going to just go right in our first chain here, the 5 that we started. Okay, so if I turn around, I got to make sure that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops. Because sometimes it's common that we lose a paddle somewhere and we're short. So we're going to come inside of this chain, single, 2 chain. Now in here we're going to do 6 more, because that's equal to double crochet always. 6 more double crochets. So we're going to have a total of 7 double crochets. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7. Chain 2 and a single. The same way as we started the first one. A single and 2 chain. Okay. Now I'm coming right to the next one with a single, 2 chain. So we're starting the same thing all over again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets. Okay, chain 2 into the same space, and we close it off with a single. So now we have 2 petals. Then you would just continue to do the same thing to the next chain. Single and 2 chain, and your 7 double crochets. So we have our 7, chain 2 in the same space, single. So we have our 3rd petal. Continue yours, and I will meet you at the end. So I finished my 8th petal. I'm going to come in where I have that first single we started with a 2 chain, and I'm going to close it in with a slip stitch. Now, for people that are building granny squares with it, then you would just continue from here and do your chains and into, you know, the single back here, like chain 5 or 6 depending upon your stitch, on your tension, and you'd continue to build those strings back here so you can do your granny square. Okay, I'm going to cut the thread. I'm going to tuck in my loose end because I don't like to keep anything to the end. I think it's just too much work. Well, the work is the same, I guess, but to me, I find it too much work. Once we're done, like go back and redo all the tucking. So I prefer to take a few seconds now because that's all it takes. And go through the loops back here. You could even do a knot or two if you have enough string. What do I mean by a knot or two for beginners that are watching? Bring it through one string, grab it, and make that knot. Okay? And then pull your string again through another couple of them. You can cut it off because you know that it's pretty much secure. Okay? So you have this beautiful flower. Okay, onto the leaf, and then we'll put the pearl on. So I have the multicolored green, which is I'm almost done, but it's going to be enough to create these little leaves because these leaves are just built with chain stitch. Okay, so I'm going to do my first slip stitch knot. That doesn't count as anything. I'm going to come in between. So you see we have the singles in between the petals back here. So I'm going to come right under, and I'm going to do a single. Try to hide this thread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to come back in and do a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I'm going to come from the top now and into the back here. Okay. So we have 7 now, and did a single. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, come from the top, right in the middle where the single is, in between petals, and do a single. So we have our first set of leaves here. Okay, like that. Now, I'm going to do one chain, and I'm not going to do a tight one. If your stitch is extremely tight, then do 2 chain. I'm going to come behind this petal, and I'm just by eye. I'm not counting stitch, just in the middle where I find it's the middle. I'm going to grab 2 of these loops back here just to be secure, and I'm going to slip stitch 1 chain again. Now, I'm just going to, if you go right in between the petals, okay, you have that single down there. So I'm right in between the petals, which is this one here, okay, single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come back in with a single. So it's just chain stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come back in, and the needle, the hook goes right through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you should not have any issues with it. Single. So now I got my second pair of leaves in. Again, chain 1. I'm going to come right from back here, and I'm just going to grab 2. I don't want to grab only 1 because it's going to pull too much on my flower. Okay, and I think I grabbed only 1. So you don't just grab 1, okay? Grab 2 or 3, whatever you're more comfortable with, and just grab the back loop. Don't grab all the way, like only the little loop, because if you grab from the front, the green's going to show up on the front. That's not pretty. 1 chain again. So you come back here. You can see automatically where the single is, right? So you just come in between the petals and again. Okay. Let me grab it properly. I'm going to make sure I grab. Once you grab it properly, then you're good to go. Okay, now I know I'm good to go because my hook went well through it. 2, 3, 4, 5. And again. So you're just going to repeat this all the way around. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can cut your thread and you're pretty much done. You can glue, you can stitch, you can do whatever, and you can use this on any pattern you like. It's gorgeous. Any color or multicolored mix also really stands out. I have quite a bit of patterns with it. Did I do a 7? I can't even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I did. Okay, it seemed like it's smaller for some reason. Maybe I made a mistake on the first one. I don't know. No, I did 5. Okay. That's what happens when I'm talking away. That looks more like a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. So yes, you can glue it with hot gun glue. Make sure it's clear, transparent the glue, not the white one. So chain 1, and again, come back here, grab a few. Make sure it's not just 1, or you're going to have a hard time with your paddles. And not too tight. You have to give it loosage. Okay, and then into the back. Single, and then do your chains. Okay, so very simple. So I'm going to finish mine, come back to you, and we'll do the pearl. Okay, so we've reached the end. I'm going to do my 1 chain. I'm going to come behind these little loops here, grab 2, 3 of them, and I'm not going to force, like I'm not going to pull on it so I don't stretch the paddle. And I'm just going to come into my first one we did from back here, and I'm just going to slip stitch right through it. And then you can tuck in your loose end, going through the loops here of the chain, and then you're pretty much done with it. And it makes such a pretty flower. And of course, you know, you fix it up. It's all like crumpled up now because we just finished beating it up, in a way of speaking, right? Poor thing. So you just fix it up. But anyway, we don't need to fix it up just yet too perfect because we need to put the pearl, right? So make sure that you're closed in properly. Pass your thread through the hole here into the front. Okay. Grab a pearl. Now sometimes I need to poke these little holes of it because they're too small for my threads. So I need to just get it together. I wish the holes were a little bit bigger, but they're not. Okay. Okay, now that finally I got it through, so I'm just going to pull in that magic circle again. Now you need to line it up. You want your pearl to be in the perfect position, so you look more or less where the straight line would be. Grab your thread and bring it to the back. Okay, and then back here, pull well into your thread, hold it there. Now get it through a loop, make a knot so your thread's not going to go anywhere, right? And then come in through the loops. And you got to do it a few times because don't forget the pearl is a little bit heavy for the thread, right? So you want to make sure that nothing's going to come apart. So you more or less line it up as you were crossing it on the other side. I'm just going to make one more knot here just to be sure and secure. So I'm just pulling my thread through it and did another knot and coming and hiding all of that behind. It's going to be glued or stitched or whatever to the pattern anyway. It's not like you would see anything whatsoever, right? Now with this one, you just bring it in between, you know, the loops back here. Give it a knot also. You don't want nothing to be coming apart. Go through some of the stitch back and forth on it. And you're good to go a few times, especially if you have made a knot already. That's not going to go anywhere, right? Okay, so now you can fix it, and then when you're ready to put it to use, you can glue it on, stitch it on as you like. I glue them on with hot gun, so it's ready to go. So this tutorial does it. I thank every single one of you. Stay tuned for the doily with these flowers. I'll be using 8 of them. And I'll see you until the next time. Take care of yourselves and each other. I send you much love. Please consider helping the women in need of thread or yarn. If you have extra, contact me. I'll give you their name and their address. You can send it to them. Or if you want to donate, there's that little $sign below the video or my PayPal in the description box. Thank you so much, everybody. Until next time. Bye-bye.